It's nice to have you here this evening. We're very, very fortunate. Jen Smorgon, whom some of you have met previously. How many of you have not met Jen before? You're in for a treat. I have heard her before, as some of us have as well. These series of meditation sessions are going to provide you with the beginnings of your meditation practice. Jen is a very accomplished teacher and a very gentle teacher and a very interesting teacher. And not just a teacher, she's actually a personality on the world scale and actually occupies many places on boards, various Jewish organizations and non-Jewish organizations, including the vice chair of the Chopra Foundation. So she is a very special person, and we're very lucky that she has agreed to give us 5 consecutive sessions to make our practice work very, very well. Okay, we're going to begin. Jen, take it away.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. And thank you to Label. Label's like a second father to me. When I moved to Melbourne, I think it was about 11 years ago the first time, I went to a friend of mine who said, "You must find Label when you come to Australia," because I was looking to find a mentor for my husband and I. And I called him a few times, didn't hear back, and then found out where he lived. I can't even remember from whom. And knocked on his door and said, "Hi, I've arrived. Will you adopt me?" And he kind of sheepishly brought me in the house and sat down with me to see if I was normal or not. And the rest is history. Label has been at every bris of every child except one, girl in the middle. We have 5 beautiful children, thank God. And I live here with my husband, who's obviously Australian. And I teach meditation. I lecture on the benefits of meditation on your physiology. I work, as Label said, with Deepak Chopra. We do a lot of research with Harvard, UCSD, Stanford, a few of the leading research institutes to study the effects of meditation on your physiology. Right now we're creating a holistic brain institute with Mass General Hospital, which will be, shifting the paradigm around mental illness in the world. So, God forbid you get a cancer of some sort. I don't wish that upon any of you. But sometimes there's a hopeful story, usually that you'll get through it. But when it comes to brain disease, it's less of a hopeful story. There's more of a stigma attached to depression, bipolar disorder, and so on and so forth. So we're really going to shift the paradigm around that, because it just so happens that the man that's working on this with us just invented the gene that turns Alzheimer's off in people that are predisposed to getting Alzheimer's. So it's really quite fascinating, the changes that are going on, and where we once thought your gene structure was fixed, now we recognize that through certain behavioral practices and ways in which you balance your body and keep the inflammation down in your body, you can live longer and you can prevent these mental illnesses from occurring. So it's really fascinating stuff. Meditation is one of the greatest ways to keep inflammation down in your body and to get all of those stress memories out of your nervous system. If you imagine you live a life, many years, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of life, every day you're putting units of stress into your nervous system. And like a big heavy bag on your shoulders, you're navigating your way through life with this stress in your nervous system. I don't know if you're aware, but they say that the units of stress that we experience in one day, 200 years ago, people wouldn't experience that amount of stress in an entire lifetime. It's quite extraordinary. You don't realize how much stress you're putting in your nervous system. Apparently, just by texting on your cell phone for about an hour, you burn 116 calories in your body. Pretty extraordinary. Everybody get out there, start texting. But really, the mind and the body are infinitely connected. And so when we de-excite the mind, we relax our bodies. You want to put stress on something, it will age more quickly, right? So we really want to give our bodies a chance to recharge and to rest deeply. And the best way to do that, one of the best ways to do that is through meditation. So over the next 5 weeks, we're going to build a practice. We'll start today with an awareness of breath technique. You have focal points when you meditate. So I basically say to people, there are 4 places you can be when you're meditating, all right? You naturally all know how to meditate. How many of you have never meditated before? Oh, good, wonderful. So this will be good for all of you. So great. We are going to meditate today, but I just want to give you, for those of you who haven't done it in a while, just a little refresher, okay? So when you meditate, you can be in 4 places, all valid experiences. Anyone who has ever told you to clear your mind of thoughts when you're meditating, it's actually not physically possible to use thoughts or effort to clear your mind of thoughts. Not physically possible, okay? So anyone who has ever told you that, just throw that idea right out the window. You all naturally know how to meditate, okay? What happens when you read a book? You have a focal point, the words on the page. You read, you read, you read, you read, you read, you read. All of a sudden, stress, tension, and fatigue bubble up as thoughts, and you catch yourself daydreaming. Everyone had this experience before? What do? The defining moment, you recognize you're off the words on the page, and you gently come back to reading. Your focal point, the words on the page, reading, 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 reading. All of a sudden you get tired again, stress, tension, and fatigue bubble up of thoughts, and you catch yourself daydreaming again. This process is meditation. Our body releases stress, tension, and fatigue through daydreams. We don't allow our bodies to daydream anymore because we're constantly on our technology, and this is why we're getting more and more and more and more tired, right? Okay? So we have a focal point. A focal point can come in many forms. The words on the page, a guided meditation, your awareness on your breath, just witnessing your breath going in and out, not changing it in any way, just witnessing it. You can use a mantra. You can listen to the music on your phone. Mantra means mind, tra means vehicle. It's basically a taxi that takes you from the activity level of the mind when you put your gentle awareness on it into deeper, quieter, subtler states of the mind. Okay? So a focal point. You can be riding a bike, and as you're riding, it elicits a relaxation response, and all of a sudden you start daydreaming, right? You can be davening, you can be praying when praying is second nature for you. All of a sudden you'll be singing the words and you'll be off daydreaming, although you're still singing the words. Okay? A focal point. You can also be daydreaming when you're meditating. You can also fall asleep when you're meditating. All valid experiences. All of a sudden your body recognizes that it wants to rest deeply. So while you're sitting with your back supported, you just let your chin come to your chest. Snore, whatever you need to do. But just allow your body to do what it needs to do. The more effortless you make your meditation practice, the deeper the experience you'll have, the deeper the rest your body will have, okay? So I'm really about making it as effortless as possible, surrendering to witnessing whatever it is your body needs to do. When we eat food, we don't tell it where to go, we don't tell which enzymes to break it down, we don't say nails grow, we just eat, and then we allow our bodies to break it down in the way that it needs to, right? Okay. In the same way, when you turn up to meditate, the only thing that you really need to do is to find a chair with your back supported. I use back supported because your body will rest more deeply when your back is supported than if you're just sitting upright, okay? So your back is supported, your head is free, not resting on anything, just free. You might notice that your head might bob. You can allow it just to be like this, or you can lift it back up. You don't need to bob. If it feels nice for it to come down, that's fine. Just do whatever feels naturally for you, whatever is effortless for you, okay? So let's go back again. You can have a focal point. You can be off daydreaming, shopping lists, the things you need to do that day, something you forgot to do, someone you forgot to call back, the Vegemite you were supposed to pick up. Whatever it is, we don't judge it. Okay? Whatever it is, you just witness yourself having thoughts. Fall asleep, or you can be in a place called the quiet place. Okay, the quiet place. There is a quiet place. We call it being. We call it consciousness without content. Whatever it is, you cannot use effort to get there. It's just to know what it is if you happen to arrive there, okay? And it kind of looks like this. All of a sudden you're meditating. Oh my God, what was that? Where was I? How long was I there for? That was so weird. I was nowhere. Well, you're not there anymore because you're having thoughts, right? But you recognize that you were somewhere, resting deeply, the quiet place. Okay? It's just to know what it is. It's not a point of the exercise to get there. You're not going to get there every time. We don't care. We don't judge how our meditation goes. We recognize that there are 4 places we can be, and we just allow and accept our bodies to recharge in any way they like. Now, no 2 meditations will be the same. Some will be thought-filled, some will be quiet, some will be thought-filled and then quiet. We don't care. The meditation is the preparation for when we open our eyes and perform action. That's the point of the exercise, not the sitting and meditating. When we open our eyes and take that higher state of consciousness into the world, or that better decision-making capability, that's why we meditate. To be more intuitive, more creative, more intelligent, more artful, right? As demands are placed on us, we want to be able to respond to those demands in an intuitive, creative, artful way with an infinite repertoire of responses, not just one way. I love to use the analogy when you go to the movie theater, right? You get a front row seat and you're like this. It's a horrible feeling, right? What do? You meditate, you move to the back row. Perspective. This is great. I get this. Now this works. Okay, understand? And we'll go into the benefits more over the next few weeks. But let's meditate now. All right, does anyone have any questions before we start? Yes, go ahead, Shari.
I used to do meditation a long time ago
Great.
in Israel. And I've heard from the teacher that the monks in Tibet,
Yep.
they levitate when they're doing the meditation.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think about it?
It's very possible, and I've seen it happen. I haven't seen levitation. I've seen people bounce up and come down. I've seen yogic flying. Pretty amazing, isn't it? It does exist. It does exist. Actually, I know somebody who is handicapped and went and learned and did it. Yep. Through meditation, through a lot of meditation. We won't be doing any of that over the next couple of weeks. But it looks pretty amazing. You know, it's interesting. There are all sorts of things in this day and age. We live in a culture of disbelief, and unless we can actually see something and it's tangible, we don't believe in it. But there's so much going on between you and me. You know, my son asked me the other day, Mom, how is it that you can talk to me on a cell phone from here all the way over there, and there's no line connecting us? And I said, sweetheart, give me your hand. And I went, did you feel that? He goes, yeah, Mommy, I did. I said, could you see it? He said, no. I said, I said, well, it just so happens there are invisible radio waves which allow me to speak on a phone to you all the way across the world or all the way at home. You can't see them, but they exist. There is so much that we can't see that exists. And the more you study and the more you practice, and especially with meditation, the more you practice meditation, not only do you become better of the fullness of who you are, right? But you access so much more of your capacity, your mental potential. Your mind will expand. You will recognize that you might even have previews before they happen. A sixth sense that people talk about when you start meditating. When you're getting rid of all of those stress triggers that you're carrying throughout your body, you become lighter and more capable and more artful and more intelligent and more creative. So many things start to evolve when you're meditating, and you start to wake up happy pretty much every day for no reason, which is one of the greatest benefits, I think. So, all right, so we're going to meditate now. Now, for those of you who feel like you have a difficult time sitting with yourselves, over the next few weeks we're going to practice a little bit of more being than doing, right? It's really hard for us in this day and age to just be with ourselves, to be comfortable stopping. Even if you did nothing else, but you sat with your eyes closed and just allowed your mind to wander. If I wired you up with a heart rate monitor, your intake of oxygen would decrease, your blood pressure would drop, just by giving yourselves time to witness self, to witness your thoughts, to just be with yourselves, okay? So everyone for a moment, just close your eyes and take some time. Okay, you don't want to be holding your arms or anything. Just be comfortable, as relaxed as you can be. Your back is supported, your head is free. All right? And take a moment and just feel your body. What do you feel? Do you feel your hands touching one another, your fingers, your hands touching your legs, your clothing on your skin? Just take a few moments to put your attention on what you're feeling physically. Great. Now I'd like you to take a moment and just put your attention on what you can hear around you. My voice, the air conditioning unit or the lights, people breathing around you, clothing moving. Now take a moment and put your attention on your breath. Not changing your breath, just witnessing your breath. What happens when you're breathing? Do you feel your chest moving as the breath flows in? Just witness your breath without changing it. Just observe the movement, the inflow and the exflow of your breath. If you get tired at all and you feel the need to put your chin to your chest, that's fine. Don't resist it. Just be effortless about it. Now, as you're witnessing your breath going in and out, you might find at some point that stress, tension, and fatigue bubble up as thoughts. You could be daydreaming about anything. A conversation you had with somebody, things that you need to do, the to-do list. Whatever it is, we just allow and accept our thoughts to go wherever they go. At some point, when you recognize you're off in those thoughts, without any effort, when you're happy that they're finished, gently come back to your very gentle and faint awareness of your breath. We're going to do this for a few minutes. If there's any sensation that it's difficult to sit still, just witness that tedious sensation if you experience it at all. Don't engage in it. Just witness it. All right, let's begin. I'll keep the time. Please keep your eyes closed. Keep your eyes closed. Don't open your eyes until I tell you to. We're going to take a couple minutes to come out slowly. You can let go of your gentle awareness of your breath, but keep your eyes closed for a couple of minutes. You can stretch if it feels comfortable to do so, but keep your eyes closed. When it feels comfortable to do so, you can slowly open your eyes. How did that feel? Anybody want to share a little bit about what they're experiencing? Yeah? Hi.
I've been doing hypnosis for 2 years every week,
Sure.
and as soon as I got into that zone, my body's always like, it's not there. So literally my hands, I can't move them, I can't move my body.
Yeah.
It's interesting, I had tinnitus that I got when my sister got diagnosed with cancer, and I can hear it now, but I've learnt to,
Yeah.
so obviously for some reason it's come back up. But
Yeah. Yeah.
totally.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a difference between tinnitus and what we call shruti. Shruti is sort of the hum of the universe moving, right? So sometimes that's what you're hearing. And especially if you're having that experience when you close your eyes that you go so deep so quickly, it's probably more shruti than tinnitus. Yeah, yeah. So welcome it. Yeah, that's great. Kind of a ringing in your ears that people can experience. I'm not sure who asked that question. Also, your hands can go numb. Your whole body can go numb when you're resting very deeply. My hands always go numb when I meditate. Sometimes my legs as well. And it's just your body resting deeply. Really important to keep your eyes closed because you're much deeper than you realize until you hear a noise or the phone ring and then you jump, right? So whenever we meditate, whether it's 10, 15, or 20 minutes, I don't recommend doing more than that. It's not necessary. 20 minutes twice a day is a practice that I do, sometimes 30 minutes, but as a beginning meditator, 20 minutes is perfectly sufficient, and if you only have 10 minutes is fine too. I just recommend that you take a couple of minutes at the end. If you set a timer for 10, 15, or 20 minutes, when the timer goes off, keep your eyes closed, let go of whatever your awareness is on as your focal point, and take a few minutes to come out slowly. You can stretch, whatever, but keep your eyes closed for a couple minutes, regardless if it's 10, 15, or 20 minutes. Really important to seal the benefits of the meditation. Because if you jump up half hour later, you can feel a little bit irritable, or you can get quite a big headache. It's really important to allow your body to come out slowly. Let the wheels come down before you land. Right? Anyone else have an experience while they were doing it? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just thinking, I don't remember the last time I had such a still moment. How long was that for?
That was 12 minutes.
I have 2 little kids at home, so
Yeah.
I don't ever get that time. And
Right.
also these days, it's just amazing how you have to come and sit here in a class to
Right.
be able to have a quiet moment.
Right,
Because
sure.
there's always a phone that you can be
Yeah.
texting somebody and
Yeah.
calling somebody. You never
Yeah.
take that, I don't take
Yeah,
that time.
yeah. You really need to be mindful of the phone and how much time you are on it because it's addictive. We're all addicted to it, right? Information overload. Where's the shrine when we're about to lose our battery? We're looking for the next recharge shrine. Like we're so connected to it. Just be aware of it, right? I recognize you get into a taxi now. I had this experience of, it's a long story and I probably shared it before, but connect with people. You know, be mindful if you're walking like this through the street, you know, wherever you are. Connect with people. Get into a taxi cab, put it down. Ask the guy where he's from. You know, you walk into the dry cleaner, or a clerk is there doing your groceries for you, and you're sitting there like this. Connect with the person. You know, information is everywhere. Knowledge is everywhere. It's not from the smartest person in the room. It can actually flow through anyone. Messages are there for you to receive all the time. So connect. That's how you'll get it. Anyone else have an experience? Oh, I just wanted to add to something you said. So I'm a mother of a few as well. And I can meditate in a room full of screaming children in the rumpus room. Literally. If you wired me up, my heart rate would be dropping, my intake of oxygen, my blood pressure. So you really can do it anywhere. All you need is a chair, back supported, and off you go.
What's the difference between having a 20-minute snooze and a 20-minute meditation?
So you lose consciousness when you fall asleep. You lose muscle tone. You lose, you know, everything goes, that's why you need to put your chin to your chest. You recognize when you're resting deeply, you can feel this deep, heavy rest happening. And when you're sleeping, you're gone. Right? So I'll draw you a diagram next week, but it's kind of like when you think about those old projectors that used to shine films. So you'd have, here you go, you'd have the screen, right? That would be consciousness without content. Or you actually, asleep would be the lights out. You turn the projector on, there's the screen, consciousness without content. And then you add the film through, consciousness with content. Right, so consciousness with content is all the thoughts. Just the light on would be being, right? And then lights out, asleep, right? Completely off. So. Anyone else? Anyone share? Yeah, go ahead.
Just in terms of her question,
Yeah.
What about in terms of benefit?
In terms of benefit, right. You know, everyone should, if you read Arianna Huffington's book, Thrive, she's a dear friend, and she talks all about 8 hours of sleep as a minimum being so important. Of course, we can't all get 8 hours of sleep, so meditation really helps. A 20-minute transcending technique, which I will teach you next week, is equivalent to a 3-hour nap. So it's so powerful in terms of your body resting deeply. I'm not saying to give up on sleep, but I'm saying to supplement your rest during the day, because we are getting so many units of stress into our nervous system every day that when you meditate a couple times a day, it's equivalent to like 6 hours of extra rest in your day. And people that have trouble sleeping at night, when they take on a meditation practice, whatever is keeping them up in the middle of the night in terms of the thoughts that they're thinking about, you're working them out in your 2 meditations twice a day. They stop keeping you up at night. So I've taught people to meditate by 2nd or 3rd day. They're doing it, and they hadn't slept in many, many years. By the 2nd, 3rd night, they're sleeping through the night, which is really wonderful. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I was tired before. Just opening my eyes, I feel refreshed as
Yeah.
if I'd had a
Yeah,
nap.
yeah. My husband and I, every Saturday night, will go out on date night, and wherever we're going, we'll arrive a half hour early. If it's to the movies or to a restaurant to meet people, kosher one, of course. And we'll sit in our car and we'll meditate. And we, to this day, can't believe how 20 minutes is just like a 3-hour power nap, and it actually is, but it's quite profound. You rest very deeply when you're meditating, back supported, head free, and so on. 5 minutes, yeah, go ahead.
Basically, what you did now was unbelievable, because my partner and I, when we sleep, or especially me, my mind's racing the whole night.
Yeah.
And in those 12 minutes, because now I was almost asleep.
Great.
I wasn't snoring, I don't think.
Great, great. Didn't hear anything. Would have been fine if you were.
And the ENT said I've got a bit of a thing like hypnosis. But anyway, so that's what I saw sometimes, and I just felt so relaxed, and so those 12 minutes
Great.
were actually
Yeah.
really good, and that's something that I'm looking for. During the day, I'm always active.
Yeah.
And
It's really powerful.
it's really powerful.
It's really powerful, and it's really simple, and your bodies naturally know how to do it. But you're triggering an opportunity for them to release more stress through thoughts more frequently. Just remember, we're not trying to push thoughts away. Okay? We're not resisting anything. We don't resist noise. We don't resist thoughts. We don't resist our awareness of our breath moving. We don't, just as innocent and as natural as you can make this process, the deeper the experience you will really have. Go ahead.
Yeah. I meditated many years and I did it in ashrams and Buddhist monastery.
Yeah.
But all the time it's happened with music on the ground. It's
Uh-huh.
called white music.
Yeah.
Really quiet
Yeah.
music. And
Yeah.
it was first time for me when I haven't got it. What do you think it's better or worse to do it with music?
I think that you know best what's right for you. I love the word guru. Gee, you are you. So you become your own guru and find out what works for you. I particularly like to keep it as simple as possible. So, I don't think that you need music. You don't want to be dependent on anything. You want to be able to take this instrument with you wherever you are, and you can meditate wherever you are without relying on outside things, right? But if you enjoy having the music, then do it sometimes, and other times recognize that you can still do it without. I say if you can think thoughts, you can meditate, right? We're not pushing thoughts away. We're just witnessing and allowing and accepting whatever our body and our minds want to do in that 10, 15, 20-minute sit to do. You just turn up. That's actually the hardest part. Just quickly before we finish, I have 3 minutes still. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead. Okay, one sec. Go ahead.
I felt I heard complete nothingness. I actually wonder what you said or did because I don't recall other than sit with your back up and the next sentence. So
Fantastic. Great. That's it. Wonderful. And you'll all have different experiences, and no two meditations will ever be the same for you. Because your body does what it needs to do in any given moment, right? Go ahead.
I probably didn't realize what I'm going through only after I jumped. Someone coughed in the crowd, and I
Yeah.
jumped out.
Right,
so
right.
I think only at that point it
You
hit me. And I
you realized how deep you were.
that I did well.
Yeah.
But probably my question is, not probably, my question is, I have back issues.
Yep.
So what do you do in, like,
Yeah.
sit 12
Yeah.
minutes?
So I would say,
I was very
best for you, like if you're on a couch or something like that, you can rest back if you can, but as upright as you can be. As upright as you can be, but make sure your back is comfortable. Absolutely. Okay? So lie as far up as you can, where
What's
your
the
back
reason?
still feels
Fall
comfortable.
asleep?
No, certain chemicals are released when you go horizontal. So you want to be upright. You'll rest more deeply without necessarily triggering sleep, though if sleep comes on while you're meditating and sitting upright, because we want to be conscious, it's okay if it comes on, but best to be upright. Yeah, go ahead.
About mantra, I wanted to ask.
Next week. Yes,
Just about transcendental meditation.
yes,
Can
yeah.
you tell us what the difference is?
yes. A transcending technique is using a mantra, which I will explain. It's just a mellifluous sounding sweet word that you repeat, and it's very charming to the mind, and you can have even a deeper experience than just doing your awareness on your breath.
I
Okay?
think what's happened is that Jen has whetted our appetite tonight, right? And everyone's just waiting that she should continue for another hour this evening. That's what I would have preferred. However, that's not going to be, because we're going to parcel out Jen in small morsels. Okay.
I just want to give them homework before you
ahead.
go. You have homework, okay? So, once or twice a day until you see me next Tuesday. Be gentle with yourselves. You're on the mother's program, the work program, the father's program. Don't think if you can't do it twice a day not to do it at all, okay? Try if you can. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, if you can, make it like brushing your teeth. You have, 5 to 10 things you do in the morning, right? Second nature. Get up, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, and find a nice chair or hop back into bed and support your back. And just sit, okay, for about 10 minutes if you can, 10 to 20 minutes. You can set a timer. Remember, you just close your eyes, just be with yourself for a little while, let that first flurry of thoughts come through, and then at a certain point, a couple minutes into it, start putting your gentle awareness on your breath as a focal point. And then you'll go off daydreaming, and then you'll come back to that. And you'll go off daydreaming and come back to that. And then when the bong goes off, take a couple minutes before you open your eyes and jump up. Okay? Try and do that a couple times, if not every day. The second window would be somewhere 2 hours after you've had lunch to just before dinner time. That would be your second window. try not to have coffee before you meditate, and not just before you go to bed. Okay.
Thank you very much.